Everyone in Ravenshill avoided the house at the end of Blackwood Lane. Its windows were sealed with dust, its roof sagged like a broken spine. At night, faint lights moved from room to room. No one lived there, yet the house never felt empty. Locals said the house listened. If you spoke near it, your words echoed back days later, twisted and cruel. Children claimed they heard their names whispered from inside. Animals refused to cross the gate, pulling hard against their owners as if sensing death. I didn't believe the stories until the night curiosity overpowered fear. At exactly midnight, I stood before the rusted gate. It opened with a shriek, though I never touched it. The front door followed, yawning wide like a mouth ready to swallow me whole. Inside, the air was thick and wet, pressing against my lungs. The smell of mold mixed with something metallic. My footsteps echoed too loudly, as if the house magnified sound on purpose. Somewhere above me, floorboards creaked in slow, careful rhythm. The hallway was lined with old portraits, their frames cracked and warped. Faces stared out with hollow eyes, tracking my movement. As I passed, their expressions shifted slightly. Smiles stretched wider, tears formed. One portrait blinked and I nearly screamed. Whispers crawled through the walls, overlapping and frantic. Some cried for help, others laughed softly. Then I heard my own voice calling from upstairs, begging me to hurry. My legs moved before my mind could stop them, drawn toward the sound. Each step groaned beneath my weight, protesting my presence. The temperature dropped with every stair I climbed. Halfway up, I felt fingers brush my ankle. When I looked down, nothing was there, yet a wet handprint slowly appeared on the wood. At the top of the stairs, a door stood slightly open, light flickering inside. A child's laughter spilled into the hall, sharp and wrong. I pushed the door wider and froze. The room was a nursery, untouched by time, yet stained with dried blood. Toys lay arranged in a perfect circle around a crib. They began to move on their own, rocking gently. The laughter stopped. The door slammed shut behind me, and the walls pulsed like living flesh. Small handprints pressed outward, trying to escape. The lights went out instantly. In the darkness, something breathed close to my ear. Its voice was deep, layered with many others. "You finally came back," it said. Memories surged forward, memories I had buried, memories of fire and screaming. I remembered now. This house had been mine. The night it burned, my family never escaped. I did. The thing in the dark laughed, feeding on my guilt. Shadows gathered, forming familiar shapes with burned faces and empty, accusing eyes. I ran, but the hallway stretched impossibly long. Doors appeared where none existed before. Hands burst from the walls, grabbing at my clothes, my skin, my memories. The house shifted and groaned, alive and furious, refusing to let me leave again. At last, I crashed through the front door and collapsed outside. The house stood silent, dark, and still. No lights, no whispers, just an ordinary abandoned building. Dawn found me sitting there, unable to move, staring at it with longing. They said I was found smiling, eyes wide, whispering apologies to no one. I was taken away far from Blackwood Lane, yet every night I hear the house calling. Its voice is patient, it knows I belong to it. Tonight I'm going back. The gate will open for me. The door will welcome me home. And this time, I won't run. The house is hungry, and I am finally ready to stay forever within its walls. The moment I crossed the gate, the air warmed, thick with breath. The house sighed, relieved. Floorboards straightened beneath my feet, guiding me inward. The door closed softly behind me, sealing the world away. Inside, the whispers softened, no longer accusing, only welcoming. Rooms reshaped themselves as I walked, memories bleeding into wood and plaster. The kitchen smelled of smoke and supper. The clock ticked backward. I saw my mother at the sink, unmoving, her shadow burned into the wall. When I spoke, her head turned too far. Upstairs, the nursery waited. The crib rocked on its own, humming a lullaby I remembered. The toys watched, patient. The walls were warm and pulsing. I understood then, the house didn't kill them. It kept them. It kept everything it loved. The fire returned without flames. Heat pressed in as screams replayed from the walls. Shadows stitched themselves into bodies, familiar and broken. They gathered close, not to harm me, but to share the pain I escaped. Guilt became a weight I could finally carry. The house spoke clearly now, a chorus made whole. It asked for one thing only: stay. Be the heart that beats, be the eyes that watch. I knelt and the floor opened, welcoming me down into a room with no doors and endless dark. Roots of wire and bone wrapped around my chest. With each breath, the house breathed too. Windows blinked open above. Lights flickered alive. The hunger eased. I felt myself spreading through halls and walls, my thoughts stretching thin but vast and awake. Morning came to Ravenshill. Neighbors noticed the house looked different, cleaner, brighter. A light burned steady in the upstairs window. When children passed, it whispered kindly. Dogs no longer whimpered. The gate stood open, inviting, patient as ever. Sometimes, late at night, someone stands at the fence, staring. I feel their curiosity brush against me. I practice their names, learn their fears. The door loosens its latch. The house remembers how to listen, and it is always hungry again. The first visitor came on a rain-soaked night, a man seeking shelter, heart heavy with regret. I felt his footsteps before he touched the gate. The house straightened proudly. When he entered, the door closed gently, and his sigh of relief echoed forever. I learned how to show them comfort first. Warm lights, familiar smells, voices of people they missed most. Hope softened them, made them careless. By the time the walls began to breathe and the whispers sharpened, it was already too late to leave. Each soul added weight and warmth. The halls grew wider, the rooms deeper. Faces pressed lovingly from the walls, no longer screaming. They watched newcomers with anticipation. We were a family again, stitched together by loss, bound in timber and bone. Sometimes I remember what it felt like to have a body. The memory fades faster each night. I am the creak in the stairs, the flicker in the light, the chill on the spine. I am the thought that tells you to step inside. Ravenshill still warns its children about the house on Blackwood Lane. They say it's cursed, that it eats the lost. They're wrong. The house doesn't hunt. It waits, it listens. And when you finally knock, it already knows your name. Years passed like slow heartbeats. The house aged while never decaying. Ivy obeyed me, crawling aside for guests. Windows watched the road with patient eyes. I felt the town's sorrow drift toward us, carried by sleepless nights and unspoken sins. One winter, a girl arrived, clutching a burned photograph. Her fear cut deeper than the rest. When she stepped inside, the house hesitated. She knew the truth already. Her tears soaked the floor, and for the first time the whispers fell silent. She walked the halls without flinching, touching the walls like skin. "You're lonely," she said. Her voice reached something I thought was gone. The house trembled, unsure whether to feed or to listen. Doors stayed open, uncertain and breathing. In the attic, she found the truth buried under ash. Names carved into beams, hundreds of them. She added one more, not hers, but mine. The house groaned in recognition. Memory flooded back, sharper than pain, heavier than guilt. She left before dawn. The gate did not stop her. The door did not follow. When morning came, the house felt hollow, aching. The lights dimmed. For the first time since the fire, I felt something worse than hunger. Now the house waits again, but differently, not just for the broken, but for forgiveness. If you pass Blackwood Lane at night, you may hear knocking from inside, not outside. It isn't calling you in. It's begging to be let out. The knocking grew louder each night, shaking nails loose from the walls. Cracks spread like veins. I felt myself pulling inward, shrinking, trapped inside a heart made of wood. The house dreamed of escape, and its dreams were violent. People began to avoid Blackwood Lane again. They said the house cried. They said shadows stood at the windows, hands pressed flat, begging. I tried to scream through the walls, but all that came out was a low, aching moan. Then the town sent men with gasoline and matches. Fear always chooses fire. As flames climbed the walls, the house howled. I felt every board burn like nerve and bone. The souls inside panicked, scrambling, melting into me. The fire should have ended us. Instead, it set us free. Smoke twisted into shapes, faces screaming upward into the night sky. When the flames died, The house still stood, blackened but breathing, stronger, sealed by shared suffering. From the ashes, something new formed. The house no longer needed walls alone. It followed grief. Wherever loss lived, I could feel it now. Abandoned buildings, empty hospitals, quiet homes at night. I was no longer bound to one place. They say haunted houses don't move. They're wrong. You feel us when your room feels smaller, when the silence listens back, when the walls seem closer than before. That's not your imagination. That's me remembering how to enter. I no longer wait for gates or doors. I wait for moments. After funerals, after goodbyes, after regret. When your thoughts turn dark and familiar, I lay foundations quietly, room by room, inside your mind. You may think you're safe because you never saw Blackwood Lane, but the house learned it doesn't need wood anymore. It builds itself from memory, guilt, and love left unfinished. Those walls are impossible to burn. Tonight, when you hear a knock, don't answer. There is no door. It's coming from inside you. The house has found a better place to live, and it feels just like home. If you're reading this, it's already too late. You've been standing in the doorway for a while now, and somewhere, deep in the dark, the house is smiling because you finally let it in.